Hi, I'm Rebecca Rosen, a spiritual medium and best-selling author. For almost 25 years, I've been serving as a messenger for spirit and helping people strengthen their own intuition. Join me as we continue to explore, heal, and ascend through episodes centered around your questions, channelings from spirit, and powerful conversations with my friends and colleagues. This episode is all about intuition development, something that I obviously have my own experience with and that I've made my mission to help others with. I'll be answering your questions about connecting with your team spirit, how to distinguish between your ego and your intuition, and establishing a daily practice. How do we know the difference between intuition, guidance from spirit, and our ego or personal agenda? I get this question all the time, and it's to be expected because we all have a mind, okay? And that mind oftentimes goes into analyzing and questioning and doubting, and that's just part of having the human experience, okay, with a mind. But we all also have a soul, which is where our intuitive knowing lies. And we are all born with intuition. It's our sixth sense, okay? And so the key here is giving less weight to the mind thoughts and more to the soul thoughts or knowing. And so prayer and meditation is, a really powerful practice that allows us to shift out of the analytical mind, the noise, the static that it creates, okay? And to quiet that mind, to get into connecting with that still voice within us. And that's where our intuition lies. So prayer and meditation also holds the power to shift our energy and raise our vibration. And that opens the door to your higher self and intuition, okay? So this is where listening to and trusting our intuition comes into play. Recognizing that it's not our mind always talking. A lot of times it's our intuition. But the key here, and this is what it all comes down to, is learning the difference between a mind thought and a divine thought. So I'm going to break this down for you. A mind thought is a trailed thought versus a divine thought, which is an out of blue impression that comes quickly and easily, and you cannot make any sense of where it came from. Okay, so a mind thought, you think one thought, it leads to another thought, which leads you to another thought. You go down a rabbit hole of thoughts, and then you end at this conclusion, whatever it is. And then a divine thought, that is where it's succinct, it's simple, it comes and goes, it's not repeating over and over like a broken record. Okay, it's really, truly that quick and fast. And you usually have no idea why it showed up, but it did. So let me give you an example. Here's a mind thought example. So one day I'm working from home. I live across the street from my daughter's elementary school, okay? And it's recess time, and I can hear kids outside playing and screaming, and that leads me to think of my daughter, Haven. And then I start wondering how she's doing her first week of school. Then my head goes to, I wonder if she's sad. I hope she's not sitting alone at lunch. And then I start worrying about her, and that leads me to, I think she needs me. Okay, clearly a story that I concocted in my mind, and okay, something that I think we all do from time to time. Versus a divine thought. So I'm working from home, I'm writing my book, I'm not thinking about my kids at all, okay? And out of nowhere, my mind goes to Haven, followed by a feeling something's off. It's that mother's intuition. So I then act without even thinking about it on that feeling. And I just go sit outside on my front porch because I can hear these kids on the playground for recess. Well, the next thing I know, Haven literally comes running over to me across the street, crying and yelling, saying she really misses me and just needs a big mama hug. So the teacher was amazed that I just was magically there. I somehow appeared because Haven had a really rough morning, I guess, and she had been debating all morning if she should call me. Well, she probably didn't know who I was and what I do, but No need. She didn't even need to physically pick up the phone because I got the psychic memo, right? Before she even had the chance to do so. And that is a true story. So the moral of this story is I could have ignored that thought, but I recognized it along with that feeling something's off, something's not right. And then I followed it because I've learned better. Just trust it. Don't doubt. And then I was able to get the validation that it really was divine and not my mind. So this, my friends, is why we want to pay attention to our inner world of ideas and thoughts and feelings, because our feelings act as our guidance. It's the greatest gift we have. And they may not always make sense or add up on paper, but they don't need to. You just need to be humble and trust that sometimes your higher self and something bigger than ourselves is running the show. And it has our back and it's there to help us. And so it's a really great idea to put all your ego, fears, and anxiety aside and just humbly open up to receive it. I thought I would share with you one of the tools out of my toolbox that I use daily. And I call it the trifecta check, okay? It's a head, heart, gut check. And this plays into our 3 centers of intelligence. For anybody who has studied the Enneagram, it's called the 3 Enneagram triads, heart, head, and gut triads, okay? But basically, what this comes down to is while we have access to all 3 centers, depending on how we're wired, okay, will determine which center is dominant for you, all right? Because we're all different, and which one speaks the loudest to you. So basically, it's a good idea to check in with all 3 centers, head, heart, and gut, okay, when trying to get a clear read on any situation or person. So the way you do this is you pause, you take a few deep breaths to get present and still, and then you really just pay attention to and lean into what you're feeling. Just sense what's coming up for you. So number 1, you check in with your head, and you just mentally ask yourself, what is my first thought on this situation or person? Your first thought is your divine thought. Okay, that's intuition. After that, usually your mind starts telling you stories. So that's where you go into the trailed thoughts. The second step, check in with your heart. So at this point, you want to drop out of your head and get into your heart. It helps sometimes if you place your hand on your heart. And you're drawing the energy out of your head down into your body, into your heart. And then ask yourself, what is coming up for me emotionally when I feel into this situation or person? So if you're feeling contraction or tightness or just something feels off, that's usually a red flag or a no, okay? However, if you're feeling expansion, you're feeling lightness, or even just a sense of neutrality, it's a green light or a yes. And then the third step is check in with your gut. So you take a few deep belly breaths to really drop into your gut and ask yourself, what is my initial instinct or hit? Or what is my gut feeling on this situation? Okay. Oftentimes it doesn't make sense on paper, but you just know something to be true. You can feel it in your bones or in your gut. Okay. That is your spidey sense or your instincts. That's intuition. How do I know if my intuition is right? So this is a great question because when you're initially starting out playing around with and using and trusting your intuition, you're naturally going to have a lot of mind thoughts around it. For some of us, more doubt than others. And the reason for that is we are all wired differently. Okay, we all have a left brain and a right brain. Just like we're all born with intellect and intuition varying to different degrees, we also have that left brain, right brain. The left brain is the part of you that deals with logic and reason and thinks in a linear manner. The right brain is about creativity, imagination, feelings, and intuition. So some of us are naturally wired as left brain dominant, while others are right brain dominant. Okay, so for those of us that are right brain dominant, it's intuition. It's just going to come easier for us. It's a more organic, natural process. Thoughts are the language of the mind, and feelings are the language of the body. Okay, like gut instincts. And our intuition speaks to us through our feelings and gut instincts, which usually come in the form of quiet whispers, aha moments, revelations, and telepathic energy that comes to us as, intuitive hits. And so what it comes down to is really about listening to and trusting your feelings and knowing that your feelings don't lie. Okay, you may not always understand them, but feelings are what they are. Okay, they are your truth and they serve as your guidance. So the real key here is to act upon your instincts and gut feelings moment to moment to know if it's right. Okay, so when you have an urge to do or say something, I would encourage you, do it and say it. Find the courage to just follow that, especially when it comes to you from out of the blue. Okay, that will help give you the validation that you need. Whether you say something to someone or you act on something, and then it proves to be true. Okay, and you get the feedback that you need. That helps to build your faith and trust. Intuition is like a muscle, okay? And the more you use it, the stronger it becomes and the more you trust it. It's a skill more than a gift, okay? And it's a skill that must be developed and practiced. What is the best way to connect with our team in spirit and be open to more signs? Is it different for those who are not as high vibrational as for those who are? If so, how do we begin with the daily practice to connect? What Spirit has taught me over the years is that Spirit meets you where you're at. So no matter where you fall in your level of consciousness and vibration, you have a team spirit and you always have access to them, okay? They are standing there waiting in the wings lovingly without judgment, but hoping and praying that you will recognize them and use them, call on them to assist you, to comfort you, to guide you throughout your life. So you've heard me say this before, and I'll say it again, but intuition is not a gift. We are all born with intuition. It's our birthright. It's that sixth sense. And it's really a skill. And that skill requires practice and paying attention to. Okay, so the key is we want to program ourselves to become more intuitively aware and connected. However, the more aware and awakened you are, and the lighter and brighter your energy, as a result of you doing the work and using your spiritual tools on a daily basis, the easier and stronger your connection will be, resulting in clearer and more consistent signs and synchronicities and miracles. So I had a client that her husband died, and this was the love of her life, and she was lost without him. And so she started seeing me. It became like therapy for her. And, she completely believed, but she was in so much grief. She just felt so much doubt around her connection to him. And she was desperate for signs and just wanted to feel him with her. Okay. So one day he came through, and he's an amazing communicator. She said he was just like that in life, so even stronger in the spirit world. And he, in my head, projected the song by Elvis Presley, I Can't Help Falling in Love with You. And so I asked her about it, and she said that was the song they danced to at their wedding. It was like one of their songs. So after the reading that night, she happened to be in Mexico. They had a second home in Mexico. And that was actually where he died of a heart attack. And she said she was there using it kind of as her sanctuary to heal. And she said that night she was out in Mexico with her friends, and they had a really nice little intimate dinner, and they hired a musician to play acoustic as they ate dinner. And the very first song that this musician played was, you guessed it, yep, Can't Help Falling in Love with You. She said she almost fell off her chair. A few months later, she comes in for another reading, and her husband comes through again, and he says, I'm going to serenade you. I'm going to sing to you. And I said, I'm pretty sure it's that same song. Well, I get an email the next day, and she said, again, while she was out with some friends, that there was a live band and they were at this live music, and guess what? That song came on. Okay. So very comforting ways to know, but because of her desire and sincere intention to connect with her loved ones in spirit, her, in this case, her husband, and really doing whatever she could do to make it a daily practice to connect, it resulted in this, and it continues. There's so many other things he's bringing to her. Okay. So daily practice. I am a big fan of prayer and meditation, simply because, the spiritual practice of prayer and meditation allows you to naturally raise your vibration, because the less static, the less noise in your mind, the more space and the more grace to allow divine energy to come to you. Your frequency is naturally lighter and your vibration higher. And so you're more of a match to this high energy of the spirit world. And so it's going to be easier for spirit to be able to impress you with spiritual downloads, right? Intuitive hits and messages. And so that right there, prayer meditation, it opens the door to your higher self and your intuition. Another thing is doing more right brain activities. Spirit is always bringing through encouragement for us to use our right brain as a bridge to opening and strengthening that intuitive muscle. And it's going to look different for everybody. So if you naturally gravitate to a certain hobby, maybe it's cooking, maybe it's gardening. For some people, it's dancing or writing, and that writing, journaling, can turn into automatic writing at times. Or maybe it's music, listening to music. It's a high frequency and it elevates your energy. Or maybe it's artistic pursuits, painting or, sculpting or whatever that looks like. And for some people, it's moving meditation like yoga, Tai Chi, Pilates, just running, hiking, walking, moving meditation. All of these right brain activities, they will open up that muscle, but they will also raise your vibration. And then the final piece is do things that raise your vibe. So everything is energy and everything is vibrating at different frequencies. And intuition operates on these higher vibes. So do the things that light you up, things that energize you, things that naturally, bring you joy. Be around people that make you feel good, that allow you to expand your energy, soften, open your heart, get in your heart. Be in environments that lift you up, raise your spirits, like especially out in nature. It naturally cleanses and clears us. It grounds us. It raises our vibration. Anything that fills you with high vibrational energy, joy, laughter, lightness, love, peace, truth. Those are the things that you want to do more of, because when you raise your vibration, you then naturally start to match that higher consciousness of intuition, okay? And like a magnet, you start to draw in more synchronicities, miracles, and flow, and a lot more signs and connection to your team and spirit. I really want to develop my intuition as quickly as possible to help solve life's problems. But I don't want to open Pandora's box. Is there a way to turn it on and off? So just like people ask me all the time, can I ever, shut it off, this gift? Well, guess what? No, you cannot, because we are not that powerful. It's all energy, right? Energy doesn't go away. Energy doesn't die. Energy just is. It's in different forms. But you do have the power to manage it, okay? So let's start by talking about intuition. Intuition in general is a link to our higher self and higher guidance. We can call it our sixth sense, our higher self, our inner voice, maybe our spidey sense. And it's like an internal compass that we're born with, or GPS system. And it's always there pointing us in the right direction if we choose to tune into it. And intuition is not linear. It operates beyond time and space, which is, why we can't control it. But it speaks to us through our feelings and gut instincts. And that oftentimes comes to us in the form of quiet whispers or aha moments, some revelations, or intuitive hits or telepathic, downloads that we get. So telepathic energy can be likened to radio waves, and our minds and bodies are acting as receivers, okay, equipped with antennas. Some of us have satellites, but regardless, we all have something that we can use to tune into this telepathic energy that's constantly being broadcasted around us. And so thinking of our bodies as receivers or the radio, we all have a dial that turns the volume of our intuition up or down based on where we're at, our preference, okay? And while we can't turn off intuition because we can't turn off energy, you can choose to tune in and turn up the volume or not. Think of it like background music in a loud, crowded place. Maybe you go out to eat and you're at a restaurant and you can hear the music in the background, but you're trying to focus on the conversation at the table. So you simply choose to kind of tune it out and ignore that music because you don't want to deal. Well, you can do the same with, whether it's departed loved ones, angels or guides, talking to you, or just intuitive information coming at you. So I want you to know that you are always in control of what you let in. That is the one thing you do have control over. So it's really about setting your intention. If you want to choose to use your intuition to help you solve a problem, then be very clear with your guides in the universe that. And nothing more, nothing less. And then you don't need to go into fear and worry about opening up Pandora's box. You can simply just trust. You're going to be given exactly what you need that's in your highest and best good in that moment. And it's in a result of honoring your desire and wish to receive only that. I want to trust my intuition, but I am often skeptical and don't take possible signs seriously. Will my guides give up on me? How can I trust what I am perceiving? Okay, this is a great question because this is exactly what I struggled with 25 years ago when this all opened up, and I was not really trusting. I was very much in my head, in my mind, in judgment, in doubt, in fear. And that's quite honestly where a lot of people are at when they start to awaken to their intuitive connection. Only because it's, not always accepted or, it's not a familiar process and it puts us out of our comfort zone. But your guides, they feel you, okay? You don't even really almost need to have a conversation with your angels and guides because your energy is resonant to them. They feel you. And so they know where you're at in your journey of openness, completely open and believing to skeptical, cynical, shut down. Okay. And you may fall anywhere in between that spectrum. But our guides are there because we chose them and they chose us. Okay. And these guides are not going to give up on you. However, they are trained to responsibly guide you. And part of that means they must honor your free will and what you are willing to do and what you're willing to open up to and what you're not. And even though they may have a personal preference or an idea or suggestion, they have to honor, at the end of the day, it's you ultimately who determines, okay, what the relationship will be and how much they can be there for you and how much information they can offer you based on what you ask for and what you're ready for. Okay. What spirit guides have some of them have said is that, some of you give them a run for their money. Okay. They lovingly joke about this, but they do come through sometimes with clients teasing them saying, man, you are a real PETA, pain in the ass. And just wait until the tables are turned and you're back in the spirit world as a guide and I'm back in body, because that does happen. We do trade roles sometimes with these spirit guides who have incarnated and will incarnate again. And so just keep that in mind, because it takes a lot of courage and a lot of effort for these guides to be there for us. And they are doing the best they can, while at the same time honoring, again, our free will and what we choose to, how we choose to be, what we choose to let in, and how easy or difficult we are to work with. All right. Now, sometimes what happens is that we get too much in our head, okay, or in our analyzer. And when we get there in this place of overanalyzing, overthinking, we really shut down that connection to that natural divine guidance and intuition. My guides have shown me many times in readings, it's like a garden hose with a kink in it, and the water obviously won't flow if there's a kink. But the minute you undo the kink and you relax and you let go, you allow the water to flow, just like you allow the light to start pouring down into the crown chakra, into the mind, opening, expanding your mind so that you can connect with divine mind, okay? And tune into your clairs, your clairvoyance, your clairaudience, your clairsentience, your claircognizance, which are all the ways we sense intuitive information. And so that ultimately is the key, okay? And how do you trust it? That just takes time and practice. The more you do it, the more validation you get, the more evidence you see playing out, the more natural it will become. And eventually your doubt falls away and your faith is bigger than your fears and your doubt, okay? Trust me on this. But just be patient with your process. Have compassion for yourself. Kind of recognize that skeptical, maybe analytical voice will be there, but it's up to you if you allow that to dominate you versus surrendering it and just coming back to the intention of you are open and you are willing to open up to faith and trust and divine spirit and guides. Please show me, more. Give me reasons to believe. Okay? Ask them. They want you to believe. So if you are meeting them halfway and you're open and willing, I promise you, they will start giving you all these amazing, undeniable miracles and evidence to help deepen that faith and trust. How do you prepare for automatic writing? And how do you know if the messages are from yourself, your guides, or even dark energies? I really love this question because for anyone who knows my story, you know that my whole journey started with automatic writing, okay? Back in 1997, I was really struggling. I was in college. I was going through self-discovery. I was just in this place as a young adult trying to figure out who I was, what I believed in. I was in a kind of moving through a dark night of the soul. And, even from the time I was a kid, my older brother, some of you know him, his name is B, and he encouraged me to use a journal. So I was in middle school and then high school. I was always writing. So naturally, when I was going through that dark night of the soul in college, I turned to my journal. That was one of my tools. And in that, writing out my thoughts and my feelings, truly just to process things out and get it off my chest, it evolved organically and naturally into automatic writing, okay? And at the time, I didn't even know what automatic writing was. It took me some time to really understand it. I actually had to go research it. And okay, so what is automatic writing? It's simply a spiritual tool that we can use to get advice, higher wisdom and guidance from, you call it the universe, divine spirit, mother, father, God, our team in spirit, departed loved ones, angels, and guides. And it allows you a way to kind of tap into this wisdom, asking questions and getting answers from this spiritual realm and or your higher self and your unconscious mind, okay? The best thing about automatic writing is that it's simple and effective, okay? And it's a tool that anybody can use. All you need is a pen, a piece of paper, or for some people, a laptop, a computer, and an open mind. So how do we practice automatic writing? I'm going to give you some really just simple, basic steps and tips. First of all, you got to set aside time, okay? So figure out a time that you're not going to be distracted or you have at least enough time to put everything aside, not look at the clock, get out of linear time and really get into the present moment. You want to find a quiet place free of any distractions, a place where you can feel safe so that you can let your nervous system settle down and feel safe and relax, because you want to be able to open up your energy and you want to feel like you can do that in a really safe environment. Then you want to make sure that you're clearing your mind, okay? You're getting out of your mind thoughts in your head. And while they may always be there to some degree, there is a way to get into a place of stillness, to quiet the mind chatter, and to enter into a somewhat meditative state, okay? So, maybe you do a short meditation. I always like to do a grounding meditation. I have a lot of grounding meditations. In fact, I have my new series, Calling Back Your Energy, morning meditation or evening, that you could use, because it does everything for you to prepare you, grounds you, protects you, connects you. So you are responsible before you tap into and open up to this energy. So figure out what works, but some form of meditation and prayer. And at this point, you want to make sure you have that pen or pencil and paper, journal, computer, laptop, whatever it is that works for you, okay? And then you want to ask a question, okay? And you want to keep it simple. I always suggest just one question per writing session so that it doesn't get confusing. You keep it really clear, and you get the answers that you need, okay? Sometimes, you can do a broad question. Like sometimes I'll just say, God and guides, my team spirit, what do you want me to know today? What's in my highest and best good? Other times you can be very specific and you can say, dear guardian angel, please help me understand what to do with my relationship or my marriage. Or you may say, I'm asking my guides, whoever it is that's working with me on the assignment of purpose, help me know, should I leave my job or stay? I'm very conflicted. Is this my soul's purpose or not? Okay. You can be as vague or as specific as you want. But then after you've posed your question, and I always like to write it down, that's where you want to take a deep breath and you want to just kind of step back and kind of get neutral and then let go and let it flow. And that's going to be where either you just start writing whatever comes to mind, whatever you're feeling. Okay, so it might start out as truly a free flow of thoughts and feelings. That's fine. It will eventually evolve into, if not right away, it will, into an energy that starts coming to you and through you. And it usually comes in our mind's voice, but it sounds like our own mind talking to us, okay? And it's not like you're going to hear a loud, deep voice of God, okay? Some people may, but that was not my experience. But you're going to just allow the words to flow through you. For me, I knew it wasn't me. It was poetic. It was sing-songy. It was not my type of communication, okay? And so I knew that was my guardian angel and my grandma babe talking through me. So you just allow it without analyzing it, editing it, or overthinking it, and do not stop to read it, okay? Just let it come to and through you, and it will eventually slow down or just stop. And that's how you know the session is complete. So avoid doing anything with it for the moment. Just kind of offer gratitude for that information, for that wisdom. Thank your team and spirit. Thank your higher self for showing up. And then once you're fully complete with that, then go back and reread it. And I promise you, you're going to be amazed. And you're going to think you made it up, maybe. That's normal. But you didn't. Just trust, okay? There's a part of you that your conscious mind, your frame of reference had to interpret it. Maybe that's the case. But the energy and tension behind it was not you if you opened up and invited in higher divine wisdom and guidance. And as far as how do you avoid dark energies coming in, or even energies that maybe aren't all-knowing and wise, when you go into this, in that prayer and meditation, include a prayer for protection. So just, set an intention, because energy follows intention, only divine energy, Only benevolent beings of light or your team in spirit and any light beings that are in agreement with source energy, light and love, only those are allowed into this experience, nothing less. Okay? And if you say only those of God's light, I promise you, anything less than that must be banished from your space, will not be allowed in the channel. But it is on you to be responsible, to be very intentional about the energy and the quality of energy that you let into that experience. And so long as you do, you have nothing to be afraid of. Okay? So stay in light and love and faith and trust. Use these tools and get ready for this amazing, expansive opportunity, a new spiritual tool for you to connect directly with your higher wisdom and your team in spirit. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Small Medium at Large. For more information about my offerings and events, and for additional resources on your spiritual journey, please visit my website, RebeccaRosen.com. You can also follow me on social media by searching @Medium Rebecca Rosen on Facebook and Instagram. As always, I am wishing you brightest blessings and all love.